Witchcraft is no longer hidden. It doesn't happen in forests or sealed rooms. It happens in bedrooms, next to phones, under soft lighting. Candles are lit for energy. Jars are filled for manifestation. Moon water sits beside laptops like decoration. Million watch, millions repeated. No initiation, no warnings, no one asking what's being opened. Every culture that practiced magic treated it as dangerous. They restricted it. They feared casual use. They believed power without containment didn't disappear, it spread. Modern witchcraft removed the fear. Spells are shared in 15 seconds. Rituals are performed for aesthetics. Herbs are burned without understanding why they were once handled with caution. There are no covens, no elders, no closing rites, just repetition. And repetition was never harmless. Ancient traditions warned that magic didn't require belief, only participation. Once performed, it didn't care why you acted, only that you did. The most dangerous magic isn't dark. It isn't forbidden. It's the kind that doesn't feel like magic at all. Modern witchcraft presents itself as symbolic, aesthetic, personal. Ancient witchcraft was none of these things. In every culture where witchcraft existed, Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, Rome, pre-Christian Europe, it was understood as direct interaction with unseen forces. Not metaphor, not psychology, not self-expression. Witchcraft was the act of influencing reality through mechanisms that were believed to exist beyond human control. That belief is what made it dangerous. Witchcraft was never casual. It was never open. It was never encouraged for experimentation. Knowledge was guarded, passed slowly, and often restricted to those who had undergone long preparation. Not because elders wanted power, but because untrained contact was believed to cause contamination. Ancient sources repeatedly warn that magic does not fail gently. It leaks. It spreads. It lingers. This is why witches were feared even within their own communities. Not because they were evil, but because they dealt with forces that did not respond predictably. One mistake did not simply affect the practitioner. It affected households, land, livestock, and lineage. Initiation mattered because it imposed limits. Limits on when magic could be practiced. Limits on how often. Limits on what could be touched. Without limits, witchcraft was believed to attract attention. Attention that could not be easily dismissed. Modern witch culture removes every one of these barriers. Spells are learned in seconds. Rituals are copied without context. No one is taught how to recognize when something has gone wrong. Ancient practitioners believed untrained magic didn't require intention to cause harm. It only required contact. The act itself was enough. This is the first danger modern witchcraft ignores. Power without initiation was never considered empowering. It was considered reckless. And reckless magic was believed to be the most unpredictable kind of all. Modern witch culture insists on one comforting idea, that magic is only dangerous if it's meant to be. Ancient traditions rejected this completely. In historical sources, intent was never treated as protection. Magic was believed to respond to action, not morality. What mattered was not what you hoped for, but what you touched, repeated, and exposed yourself to. This is why so-called everyday spells were feared. Love workings, attraction rituals, protection charms, manifestation practices framed as self-care. These were not considered gentle magic. They were considered interference. Even when the goal was positive, the act itself was believed to disturb forces that did not align neatly with human desire. Ancient warnings are precise on this point. Once a ritual was performed, it did not remain contained to its intention. It altered conditions. It created movement, and movement invited response. This is where modern witchcraft becomes vulnerable. Spells are performed casually, often repeatedly, with no understanding of escalation. If a result doesn't appear, the solution is simple. Repeat it. Intensify it. Add more elements. Perform it again under a stronger moon. Repetition was never harmless. Historical sources treated repetition as amplification. Each performance was believed to deepen contact, widen exposure, and reduce control. That is why limits existed. That is why certain workings were restricted to rare moments, not daily routines. Modern witch culture removes those limits entirely. There are no warnings about saturation, no discussion of unintended effects, no acknowledgement that magic, once enacted, does not simply dissolve if ignored. Ancient texts never asked whether a spell was good or bad. They asked one question only: was it necessary? Because unnecessary magic was believed to attract attention without purpose, and attention, once drawn, was not easily dismissed. This is the second danger. Magic performed casually does not remain casual. It accumulates. Modern witch culture treats the moon as a backdrop. Aesthetic, comforting, predictable. Ancient traditions treated it as a threshold. Lunar timing was never symbolic. It was believed to determine when the boundary between forces weakened. Full moons, new moons, and seasonal crossings were not chosen for beauty. They were feared because they represented moments of increased permeability. This is why rituals tied to the moon were restricted. In older practices, lunar workings were performed sparingly, often under supervision, and always with defined limits. Certain phases were avoided entirely. Others were approached only after preparation. The danger was not the ritual itself, but timing combined with repetition. Modern witch culture ignores this completely. Moon rituals are performed monthly, sometimes weekly. Full moon releases, new moon intentions, Sabbats celebrated as spiritual festivals rather than crossings. There are no closing rites, no containment practices, no pause. Ancient sources warned that repetition during thresholds did not empower magic, it normalized exposure. Each ritual was believed to thin the boundary further, not because the moon changed, but because the practitioner did. This is where danger compounds. Rituals once reserved for rare moments are now treated as routine. Candles are lit, words are spoken, objects are charged, then everything is put away as if nothing occurred. But ancient belief held that timing creates momentum. Once aligned repeatedly with a threshold, withdrawal becomes difficult. The practitioner may feel drawn to continue. Restlessness appears when rituals are skipped. A sense of imbalance emerges. Not dramatic, not frightening, but persistent. This was considered a warning sign. Older traditions believed that cycles, once entered without restraint, began exerting pressure of their own. The practitioner no longer chose the rhythm chose them. Modern witchcraft reframes this as alignment. Ancient cultures called it loss of containment. This is the third danger. When rituals become calendar events instead of deliberate acts, magic stops being intentional. It becomes habitual, and habitual magic was never considered safe. Modern witch culture treats herbs as gentle, natural, safe, decorative. Ancient traditions did not. In older systems of magic, plants were never considered inert ingredients. They were believed to be living intermediaries, things that stood between the human world and forces that moved through nature itself. This is why herbal knowledge was restricted, feared, and often separated from ordinary healing. Not every plant was dangerous, but no plant was neutral. Historical sources describe herbs as carriers of temperament, alignment, and affinity. Some were associated with protection, others with attraction, others with disruption. The danger was not toxicity alone. It was what the plant was believed to invite when handled incorrectly. This is why preparation mattered more than outcome. Certain herbs were gathered only at specific times. Some required isolation before use. Others were forbidden entirely outside ritual context. Modern witchcraft removes all of this. Herbs are purchased online, burned for atmosphere, mixed casually, handled repeatedly without pause or restriction. Ancient practitioners believed this was reckless, not because the plants were evil, but because nature was not passive. Nature responded. In response, without understanding, was considered a form of provocation. Herbal magic was especially feared because it blurred boundaries. Unlike spoken spells or symbolic rituals, plants remained present. They lingered. They were worn, burned, brewed, and kept close to the body. Ancient warnings emphasized this risk. Once a substance crossed into daily life, separation became difficult. The magic did not end when the ritual ended. It followed the practitioner home, into their sleep, into their routines. Modern witch culture reframes this as grounding. Ancient cultures called it entanglement. This is the fourth danger. When substances once treated with ritual distance become lifestyle accessories, containment disappears. The line between ritual space and living space dissolves. And once that line is gone, ancient belief held that withdrawal was no longer simple. Nature does not respond to intention. It responds to proximity. For most of history, witchcraft spread slowly. Knowledge passed from one person to another. Errors were corrected. Warnings were enforced. Limits were taught before power was shared. Modern witchcraft spreads in seconds. WitchTok did not invent magic. It removed its restraints. Spells are filmed, edited, and uploaded without context. Rituals are compressed into short clips. Warnings are replaced with disclaimers. Complex practices are reduced to aesthetics. Million watch. Thousands repeat. There is no lineage, no mentorship, no correction. Ancient traditions believed this was the most dangerous condition possible. Magic without guidance was considered unstable, not because it failed, but because it scaled beyond control. Knowledge that once required preparation now reaches people with no framework for containment. This is unprecedented. Never before has magic spread faster than understanding. Algorithms reward repetition. Trends encourage imitation. The more people perform a ritual, the more visible it becomes. Ancient systems worked in the opposite direction. Repetition was restricted precisely because it intensified exposure. WitchTok turns repetition into entertainment. The danger compounds silently. Practitioners copy what they see, often without knowing why something is done, only that it worked for someone else. When results don't appear, rituals are repeated, combined, intensified, or modified. No one teaches how to stop. No one explains what to do if something feels wrong. Ancient traditions considered this a critical failure. Magic without closure was believed to leave openings unattended. Openings, once created, were not assumed to close on their own. Modern witch culture assumes disengagement is enough. Ancient cultures did not. They believed that ritual activity created traces, residue that accumulated through repeated contact. Without instruction, that residue was believed to destabilize the practitioner long before anything dramatic occurred. WitchTok reframes this destabilization as growth. Ancient systems called it loss of grounding. This is the fifth danger. Magic has become content. Power has become aesthetic. Exposure has become entertainment. And there is no mechanism left to slow it down. Modern witch culture believes stopping is enough. Ancient traditions did not. In older systems, magic always ended deliberately. Openings were closed. Objects were discharged. Silence followed action. This was believed to be containment. Modern witchcraft removes the ending. Rituals begin easily and fade without closure. Moon rituals repeat. Herbs are burned and replaced. Nothing is sealed. Ancient warnings were clear. Magic does not disappear when ignored. Without closure, it leaves residue. This is the sixth danger. Magic that never ends becomes permanent exposure. Stopping was never the same as closing. Witchcraft survived because people feared it. Modern witch culture removed that fear. Magic is no longer treated as power, but as lifestyle. Candles beside phones. Rituals inside routines. Spells becoming habits. Ancient traditions warned this was the final danger. This is the seventh danger. Power that becomes ordinary stops being controlled. Witchcraft didn't become safer. It became quieter. And quiet power never warns you when it has gone too far. Subscribe.